The Pokemon universe is filled with terrifying monsters. Garchomp, Gyarados, God. But those Pokemon are relatively pretty rare. Say the Pokemon that you would have as like a house pet. How safe are they? We're starting with the logo. I don't think it would ever end its trainer's existence on purpose. In the Pokedex entry for Emerald, it says when it releases pent-up energy in a burst, the electric power is as strong as a lightning bolt. But obviously, a Pikachu would never shoot a full lightning bolt at its trainer. But say you like doze off after a long day of work with your Pikachu and fall asleep. Look at the Sapphire Pokedex entry. It occasionally discharges electricity when it is dozy after waking up. You can have your existence absolutely ended if you accidentally wake up your Pikachu. That's why I will never train a Pikachu. I'm looking at you, Ash, right in your retinas. Female Nidoran. You don't need to worry about the male one. He's a chump. This is the one you need to look out for. In the Pokedex entry of Pokemon Gold, even a scratch can be fatal from this Pokemon. And you might be sitting there like, ooh, that's an old game. Maybe there's some updated information for the Pokedex these days. The Pokedex entry for Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, one drop of the venom can be fatal. I know the Pokedex entries also say it's a docile Pokemon, but say someone else is training one and it has it out of its Pokeball and it happens to brush up against your leg. Two things happen. Either you're dead or it's a hospital visit. Don't be fooled. Those are the eyes of a killer. The way Jigglypuff will end you is you'll probably be on a hike in a forest. It's fairly common. People do that. Run into one of these. It sings for you. You go night-night, and then you're like an afternoon snack for Ursaring. Nothing can avoid falling asleep to Jigglypuff's song. Don't give me those eyes. I don't want to wake up in the middle of a forest with a mandibuzz eating out my stomach. The only thing I might hate more about you is the disjoint on your back hair. Now we have Mankey. In the entry in Heart Gold, groups of them will attack any handy target for no reason. I don't want to be strolling down Route 5 and then get jumped by a group of Mankey. I will 100% not leave my house because of them. Welcome to one of the many reasons why I will never get into the ocean in the Pokemon world. Tentacool. In its Pokedex entries, it talks about how it loves swimming in shallow water. It's virtually invisible to see in the water, and you won't know if you're near one till it stings you. No thank you. Also, another point about a lot of its Pokedex entries, if you find one shriveled up on the side of the beach, they tell you to throw it back in. Absolutely no shot I'm doing that. Now that we made it up to Ponyta, honorable mention to all fire type Pokemon, because let's face it, they all have a flamethrower attached to them. Let me tell you, Ponyta is built different. In the red and blue Pokedex entry, its hooves are 10 times harder than Diamond's. Not only that, in the Stadium Pokedex entry, it can jump over the Eiffel Tower. But in the Fire Red Pokedex entry, it says it can clear Ayers Rock. It's this rock formation in the middle of Australia that also happens to be twice the height of the Eiffel Tower. So what makes Ponyta an absolute menace? So what? It can jump high and its hooves are 10 times harder than Diamond. What will make it end your existence? Well, in the entry in Pokemon Silver, Ponyta will kick back at any presence it senses behind it. So you're telling me if I walk behind a Ponyta that's a pony that's literally 3 feet tall, it will basically make my body explode. They should be eradicated. Ghastly. I get it. He's a ghost. He's already pretty spooky. But the thing that you actually need to worry about is his gas. Not like a fart or anything, but like poison. In its Pokedex entry of Fire Red, it can topple an Indian elephant, yes, a real life animal, by enveloping it in gas in 2 seconds. If it can topple an elephant, it can definitely topple you. How the heck do you even get away from it? It's not like staying in your house is going to keep you safe. An absolute menace. On to a Pokemon that I don't even understand how it still exists. Voltorb. Half of its Pokedex entries is about how if it just has a sudden jolt, not even like electricity, just like a shake, it'll explode. If you're skateboarding, I don't know if you've ever skateboarded before, but you run into a rock and then you just fall off your skateboard, unpleasant. Imagine that, except for there's a ball rolling next to you, it hits a rock and it explodes. How do you even survive long enough to reproduce? Rhyhorn. Let me make this perfectly clear. I'm actually not scared of Rhyhorn by itself, because if it's charging towards you, you can jump out of the way. Also, Rhyhorn's only like 3 feet tall. If you really want to challenge yourself, you could probably hurdle him. In the Fire Red Pokedex entry, this Pokemon can shatter even a skyscraper with its charging tackles. Can you imagine just working your 9-to-5 office job, hating your life, and then your life just ends because a Rhyhorn ran into your building? Totodile. Okay, he's just a crocodile, okay? I'm scared of crocodiles. What do you want me to tell you? That his jaw can crush anything? Because that's exactly what his Pokedex entry says. Yanma, I get it. He's a bug. He's already kind of scary, especially when he's 4 feet long. That's actually not why he's on this list. He's on this list because of the indirect contact that he gives you. In its Pokedex entry of Pokemon Y and many others, it says it can flap its wings so fast that it shatters windows. I don't know about you, but I don't want my windows to shatter just because a bug happened to fly by my house. Pineco is on this list for basically the same exact reason that Voltorb is on this list. He fall from tree, he go boom. I didn't know this about Gligar, but he's actually just a face sucker. This Pokemon hangs on to the face of its foe using its clawed hind legs and large pincers on its forelegs, then injects the prey with its poison barb. Delightful. Oh, I forgot to mention, Gligar's also 3 feet tall. Imagine that coming straight for your face. Phanpy gives you an interesting disposition. In its Pokedex entry in X, it's a sign of affection. It bumps you with its snout. However, it's so strong, it might send you flying. That sounds like a couple broken bones. And you might be like, no problem, easy. I will just never interact with a Phanpy. Wrong. Say you have a friend, I know, crazy, but they have a Phanpy. They will want you to be nice to their Phanpy, and then their Phanpy will send you flying. I guess you also have to make sure that you have no friends. You're already doing a bang up job. Unless you hit the subscribe button, I'll be your friend. I promise I will never have a Phanpy. Pinky swear. Good old Pooch Boy. He'll bite anything that moves. Shroomish, a very inconvenient Pokemon to come across because they hide under leaves, and if you startle it or accidentally step on it, it releases spores that, quote, cause pain all over. That sounds miserable. You might be looking at Whismur and you're like, how is it even on this list? It's probably more scared of you than you are of it. And that's part of the problem. In Emerald's Pokedex entry, its cries equal the volume of a jet plane. Just for reference, from 30 meters away, a jet engine is 150 decibels, and you start having hearing loss at 120 decibels. Imagine having that bad boy right there. Thanks, Whismur. I didn't need to hear anyways. Kind of overrated if you asked me. Electrike. He has one of the most absurd Pokedex entries on this entire list. Electrike runs faster than the human eye can follow. So I found this article when they talk about a ball, how fast it would need to move for it to be completely invisible to the human eye. It's around 38,000 miles per hour. That is 1/5 the speed of light. If it accidentally grazed you while it was running full speed, you would probably lose a leg. Welcome to another reason why I will never go near the ocean in the Pokemon universe, Carvana. And you might be like, yeah, you'd be dumb to swim in the ocean. What about if you take a boat? Carvana's strong developed jaws and its sharply pointed fangs pack a destructive power to rip out boat hulls. Many boats have been attacked and sunk by this Pokemon. Are you getting the point that there's nowhere safe in the Pokemon universe? Like, even if you're sitting at home, like your windows are gonna shatter in because of a Yanma passing by, or you're gonna sit there in a corner praying that a Ghastly doesn't float in. Trapinch. He's a living, breathing, sentient bear trap that can crush boulders. Don't let looks deceive you. This is an absolute killer. The Pokedex entry from Black and White. Its ears are always rolled up. They can be forcibly extended to shatter even a large boulder. So you're telling me it unravels that one ear and it can shatter a large boulder? In fact, there's actually another Pokedex entry that says it can turn a large boulder to dust. So if I get hit by one of those ears, I lost that body part. If it decides to rapid jab me with the 2 ears, that's GG, fam. Okay, I don't like crocodiles. They're scary, okay? And Sandile will just bury itself completely in the sand, and if you accidentally step on it, it will bite your leg. Next, we have Scraggy, a Pokemon that can barely keep its pants up. In the Pokemon White entry, it'll immediately headbutt anyone that makes eye contact with it. I don't know about you, but I don't want to get a concussion every time I want to go to like the farmer's market and I happen to see one of these things. Brillish has to be one of the things at the top of my list that will keep me away from the ocean in the Pokemon universe. They paralyze prey with poison, then drag them down to their layers 5 miles below the surface. And honestly, every single Pokedex entry is like this. It's either It paralyzes them and they drag them down and they drown, or they drag them down into the depths of the ocean. I'm thinking about staying away from the ocean in real life, just for the small chance that Frillish might actually be a real thing. Poniard, his body is literally just made out of knives. Imagine hugging being fatal. Dino, it can't see, so to figure out where its surroundings are, it just bites and tackles everything. I don't want to hear this thing tackling into my house at 4 o'clock in the morning. And then I go outside to see what it is and it bites me? Absolutely not. Esper, a Pokemon that can't control its power. I would love it to explode its magical juice all over me. Wait, that phrasing. Dedenne, what's more terrifying than physical harm? You guessed it. Financial harm. It sneaks into people's homes and steals electricity from their outlets. When your electric bill seems off, it's the hard work of this rascal. That's the most terrifying Pokedex entry I've read all day. Rowlet, one of my favorite starting Pokemon of all time, is a Pokemon I would never have in the Pokemon universe. He shoots his feathers, which are as sharp as blades. If his feathers are as sharp as blades, we have another Poniard situation. This man spreads his wings and say you like accidentally want to pick him up at the same time he spreads his wings. That's a hospital visit. Morlul, it's the same thing as Jigglypuff. It spreads spores that if you look at them, you fall asleep and bada bing, bada boom, and Ursaring is opening your chest up. Do I even need to explain this one? This Pokemon is an absolute menace. Next, we have good old Sobble. When scared, this Pokemon cries. Its tears pack the chemical punch of 100 onions. I mean, this one, honestly, Sobble won't really harm you, but who wants to cry? Last but not least, another reason why I'm never going into the water in the Pokemon universe. Arrokuda. If it sees any movement around it, this Pokemon charges for it straight away. Heaven forbid I fall into the water and one of these things decides, hey, I need to stick myself into that. I don't want to get out of the water with like 13 of these sticking out of me. That's the end of the video. Hey, if you like the video, maybe consider subscribing. Remember, I will be your friend. Just, you also have to remember that I will be the most disappointing person in your life, even more disappointing than yourself. But if you're already subscribed, that's my mother freaking dog. I exited the wrong way.